No, wait, I wasn't recording. Alright, hold on. Let me start over. I'm just recording this as a tad bit of a celebration in my game development. Alright, so I guess quick update just to tell you guys what's going on and why I'm recording this. I recently started college. I'm going for an associate's in computer science so that I can eventually try game courses or game design courses. And so far, what I've been doing with my time since focusing on game design is I've been finding a way with college to take this game project I'm working on a tad bit more seriously. And so far, this is one of the coolest milestones I think I've found. I got a player that can walk around, and also he has animations. It's kind of weird how he... There's no jump animations. There's just the walk animations, which I'm kind of proud of. I was figuring this out for the longest time. In Blender, the 3D modeling program I was using to create this guy by hand, I couldn't find a way to import animations from Mixamo for the longest time. And what Mixamo is basically like a stock animations library by Adobe. At least transitioning works. There's no getting strength from the movement. It's a lerp value that like increases and then stops instantly. So as you can see, I'm like tilting the joystick slightly here out of the dead zone, and it's not doing anything. As soon as it crosses the dead zone, he kind of like speeds up for a minute to get into the running speed. For some reason, if I plug in for strength, that doesn't seem to work as well. I think he starts going either diagonally or something. Since my journeys to the magical realm of higher education, so far, I'm just in a few classes. I'm in one major class in person, and that's basically an intermediate algebra, and then I've been using hell of my time other places on campus for like tutoring resources to ask the bigger dick questions like trigonometry. Other than that, I'm just in intermediate algebra. I don't remember the camera being this slow. Now that I have run animations, I kind of want it to go. There's also... Sorry, I didn't know if my washer was dying in the background. Here we have coins that disappear when you pick them up, but they don't actually go away. You can still walk through the hitboxes, and there's the sound effect that plays. Because I couldn't figure out a way to cause like a one frame delay, or an await. There's an await command. I'm not sure exactly how it works, because I tried using it to like halt the thing to disappear or queue free until... But it just didn't take the code, so I gotta figure out something for that. This is the Godot engine 4.2.1, I believe. This has been... This has been the most intuitive game design tool for me to learn in terms of an actual engine beyond something like RPG Maker. It came across as intuitive to me, or it came across as very fun to learn because Cruelty Squad was made in an older version of the Godot engine. So that's given me a tad bit of faith. Or at least inspiration to keep using this. So far, there's definitely a lot with the Godot engine that seems spooky to me. that maybe it's not as intuitive as I thought, or maybe in all my times of working with other game engines like Unity, I just wasn't able to grasp it until I spent 1 million years studying. Can I still get stuck on this? Yes. I can't wait to figure out how to fix this. I was able to escape it all of once, but the reason this is happening, the reason this is happening is because I'm using Trench Broom, which is a brushed-based map editor similar to Hammer that you'd see for games like Half-Life, Gary's Mod, Source Engine games. And basically what brushes are, they differ from meshes in that brushes are just big blocks you draw across. And usually the Source Engine or the Quake engine is supposed to read those brushes and then close off the spaces and then use the in-engine tools or the companion tools, executables, to calculate all your visibility and your map geometry and what's considered inbounds. Because all of Source to Quake engine games are really just internal maps with skyboxes, whereas more conventional methods of game design now would be just have a completely open space, which this has. A completely open space. The skybox is more of a shader that's rendered way off in a distance from the camera. But I still went with the decision to use a brush-based map maker just because it's most intuitive to use for blocking out. It can get you some pretty advanced results if you're pretty clever with brush work. So far, I guess this map isn't the best demonstration of that. It's just a movement test arena with varying jumps. Actually, hold on, check this out too. We have differing jump heights depending on how long you hold the button, which is pretty cool. Granted, most of the stuff I followed a tutorial for, but some other stuff I have been able to intuit, which I really like so far, at least in my studies of this. I don't know what else to say. My goal is, this is supposed to be like a physics box. You can probably see it drop at the start of the game. But, yeah. I've tried turning this thing into, iterations of props with physics so I can create a prefab so that if you knock this thing around or it has impact sound effects. I found a tutorial for Unity, and I just thought, I'm just gonna follow this and see how far that gets me. And I thought, oh, what if there is, an audio management command? There isn't one by default. You'd have to set one up on yourself, and that's a bit of a hassle. I don't have the know-how or the programming for that. This thing's just a decal. I'm surprised it projects the way it does. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, ooh, Left 4 Dead 2 flashlights. There's the coins I was mentioned previously that don't actually disappear. You might have also noticed I can jump up walls. If I mash it, it doesn't work unless I'm falling. I can't tell if that's by 0 velocity or some specific -1 velocity, which in terms of 3D space, since the gravity is squared, that velocity increases quick, so you don't have to set it anything higher than 1. That just makes it so it's a bit of a skill for timing like this, so you can't just mash against the wall. That is a prototype feature of ledge hanging, or eventually, bouncing off the wall. There is a very slight space that pushes you away from the wall after you execute the wall jump. That's supposed to be that's supposed to send you off in an arc. But so far, the move and slide function, I haven't quite figured out how to get that to pause when you're on the ground, or how to decrease your air acceleration, velocity, or whatever. See, if I jump and I stop moving, I just stop in air, which might be cool. Are my trigger buttons popping up? Barely, but you can still see them. I wanted to have functions so that when you hold the triggers, you run and crouch. You say hold right trigger to run, and you should be running like maybe twice the speed, and then you can use that with your jumps. And it's basically running is just another way to increase your not only your horizontal movement, but your vertical jump height. I've been looking into methods for programming jump trajectories so that, like, when you're standing still and you jump slightly higher, but as you're running, you kind of lose that distance because there's more force being applied towards the direction you're moving based on your jump internal force rather than... Fuck, I don't know how to explain it. Basically, the instantaneous applied force of the jump should be combined with the direction you're moving. So far, that's what I was going for a lot of my more advanced lessons for, was just figuring out how to accomplish something like that. So far, the most simple solution I found, which isn't implemented, by the way, but this is something I've been spitballing. Blech. So far, the simplest solution I found was just, like, while you're running, also add a tad bit more strength to the direction you're holding when you jump by a simple, like, instantaneous applied force, or by adding that velocity while you're holding the trigger. That might be another simple method too, is to just, like, increase all movement direction speed somehow by holding the trigger. Say that, like, all run and jump values are multiplied. And the reason I was trying to find a way to manually implement something like this is because, like, it's well known in games like Minecraft, if you're sprinting and jumping, you move forward faster. There have been, like, all sorts of measurements in game, and it's a well-known exploit. Here we have the pit, where I'm trying to see if, like, you can get stuck, but it's surprisingly out of this you can jump. So I'm not too worried about players not being able to get out. You can kind of walk up the intersections. I want to know what the math explaining this is, especially since I'm using a capsule. I'm taking a very slow burn approach to this, by the way. If the fact that I wasn't in college didn't make that obvious, given that... Oh yeah, I forgot. There's like a... Usually that elevator doesn't work that good, but alright. There's like an invisible object here that you could only see in the map editor. It's like a brush that creates a curve, but it's all invisible. And here's a gazebo. You forgot to show off the dark room, which has lights that haven't turned on yet. And also the player has a tiny little globe light inside of them, which you can kind of see reflecting off of itself. And that's just a tiny little safeguard to prevent the player from being surrounded in complete darkness. You can especially see it when you get up close to the walls. That idea, I believe I pulled from Dark Souls, or Sekiro, because in games like the original Dark Souls, there was no torch. In Sekiro, it's called, like, Shinobi Eyes, and it's basically dark vision. And what that does is basically whenever you enter somewhere in the game that's really dark, this little Omni light on your player character would just change values. Hence for dark vision, it would create like a really big light around you, but it would be really soft and like blue colored. So it'd give the stylization of darkness, but not the advanced darkness, which is a term I love from SpongeBob, by the way. I've already lost the exit. No. I finished the design doc for this, too. I had my private wiki up, which I was filling out notes for. And then I thought, wait a minute. There are these things called design documents. Why haven't I filled one of those out yet? Make this a tad bit more easier to follow in terms of flow. This thing is an enemy. Also, I forgot to throw that... forgot to show that off. This is your attack. It just launches a projectile forward. There is an option to make this so, like, it keeps traveling in the direction you originally threw it out. But here, the rotation follows the player. Eventually, I'm thinking I can program that, like, you can have this be super short and then program that into animations with him punching, and boom, there's your attack system. You could stack a lot of them on top of each other, with it being a simple projectile, which is pretty cool. This thing is like a danger pit. You step on it, it takes down your health. That's about all I have to show off in this so far. If I think of any more notes I forgot to mention in this update, I'll probably have them in the description or the comments or something. That's about all I have for this project so far.